What is good, YouTube, man? Today I'm back with you guys, with the nation, for another video. And today, do we have some news? But before I get into today's video, I have to give a big shout out to my boy Icy Nate, yet again coming in clutch with another thumbnail for me for this channel. So yet again, very much appreciated. Please go check his page out at icy_Nate for YouTube, and Raiders.rhythm on Instagram. Go check my boy out, show him some love, show him that support. But like I said, do I have some news today? Now, as we all know, today was the cutoff. It was the deadline for the Raiders and every other 31 other teams in the NFL for them to make their roster get cut down from 80 players all the way down to the final 53-man roster. Now, we knew that there was going to be some hard cuts. We knew that there was going to be some surprise cuts. And we also knew that there was going to be some players that we already knew they were as good as dirt, right? They were gone. The second this cutoff day, they were gone, right? And we all know that the Jared Jones of the world, the Patrick Omames of the world, those dudes are gone. Thankfully, those dudes are gone, right? So we know those guys are gone. Whew. Couldn't be more happy about that, right? But surprisingly, Nevin Lawson has still made a way to find a way to be on this team. He is on the injured reserve, so he doesn't impact our roster right now. But some of the bigger news that we got today, recently acquired from the Buffalo Bills in free agency, our wide receiver veteran looked promising coming in. Wide receiver John Brown, like I said, played for the Bills, Cardinals, and I think another team after that. He requested today, earlier, while all the cuts and releases and waves were being made, that we release him. He requested that the team released him, and the Raiders did. They did grant him his release as requested. Now, this one, in my opinion, it did become a little bit shocking to me, saying that we had other guys on the roster. I mean, it is what it is. The Raiders, there has been reports in writing that the Raiders are very high on Zay Jones. We know that already about John Gruden. He's only spoke very highly about Zay Jones. So we know that's the deal, right? But yeah, that was kind of odd. Definitely didn't expect that to go down. Obviously, it wasn't a good sign for him that he was playing in the last preseason game when we saw like half or over half our team didn't even travel to the game. So yeah, it wasn't a good sign that he went and played a good amount of snaps against the Niners. And not only that, he got outplayed by an undrafted free agent rookie, Dylan Stoner. He outshined him. We had other guys that outshined him as well in that game. So maybe he could have just been trying to save face and you know, make it look less bad on his part by just requesting the release instead of saying that the Raiders just outright cut him or outright released him, basically saying that he's not good enough for the team. So he requested that. The Raiders did grant his release. He is no longer with us. That, in my opinion, was a surprise. Now, this one right here, we were all very excited when we saw this as a Raider fan base. When we lost this player into free agency a year ago, it hurt a little bit because of how much emotionally we get attached to these players. And I'm speaking of Karl Joseph, the Hitman. Now, he did leave us last year. He went and played with the Browns, went to the playoffs with the Browns. Had a solid season there. Not the best, not the worst. He had a solid season with the Browns, and we all know that earlier this offseason, we did bring the Hitman Karl Joseph back. Now, we were like, well, this couldn't be more perfect. We got Jonathan Abram. We got the Hitman to back him up. He can even play some free safety. We saw him do it with the Browns and their cover 3 system. So we're like, this is perfect. This is perfect. This is a great reunion. We got a beloved guy back. But he gets waived earlier today. He was waived. Now, this one, it does seem to look like we could possibly be waiving him so that we can make way to keep Javin White and Nicholas Morrow on our squad and just put him on the IR, put those two guys on the IR. If we were to do that, then we can just easily re-sign Karl Joseph, and we also get to keep guys like Nicholas Morrow and Javin White on the roster. Technically, The way it's kind of a loophole. So what we might be doing is waiving KJ to make way for Nicholas Morrow and Javin White. Therefore, we get to keep those guys by putting them on the IR. They are not available to other teams. And then while doing that, they don't impact our 53-man roster, and we can just re-sign Karl Joseph. So hopefully that is the plan for Karl Joseph. That we're not completely just letting him walk. I wouldn't like to see that. I don't think that he performed the best in the preseason, but at the same time, this is a veteran. This is one of our own, right? We drafted this guy. I don't want to just see him walk. But if it happens, it is what it is. But definitely that was surprising to me. Now, another surprise, right? In the tight end room, Derek Carrier, we all know he's been with us for a couple of seasons now. I believe it's 3 seasons. Would have been going on to 4, but he did not make the roster. He did not make the roster. Neither did Matt Bushman. Neither did Justin Ellis or the other tight end. But instead, tight end / fullback, a guy that Gruden back in March, I believe, according to my boy Raider Scout, had came out and said that he was very, very high on this player. So tight end / fullback Nick Bowers did make the roster over a guy like Derek Carrier, and this is a guy that will be backing up Foster Moreau as the 3rd string tight end, and will be backing up Alec Ingold as the 2nd string fullback. So we get some depth with him. We don't keep Derek Carrier. Instead, we take on Nick Bowers. This is a guy that John Gruden has called versatile, very, very good in the passing game as a fullback. You know, a guy that can really catch out the backfield. Basically, less developed Alec Ingold is what we got with Nick Bowers, and he did make the roster. So shout out to him, because that's a big move in my opinion. Now, a guy that got released but made way for someone else, Kendall Vickers, right? We all knew that with signing Gerald McCoy, we all knew Gerald McCoy was going to want that number 93 back. And earlier today, Kendall Vickers was released by the team. And we do know that that with that being said, we are probably going to try and bring Kendall Vickers back onto the practice squad. I'm not too sure if that'll work out for him. Maybe other teams are interested. But we did let go of Kendall Vickers. McCoy gets his number 93 back. And what I will say is McCoy, man, he is probably one of the most grateful and, he's just a good guy, man. As much as he's a great player, he's a good guy, man. He's just loving every opportunity he gets, and I love to see him that he gets his number back. Of course, it does come at the loss of a guy like Kendall Vickers. Hopefully, we can get him in back on the practice squad like we did, moving up and down like we did last year, you know. But yes, Kendall Vickers did get released. Therefore, Gerald McCoy does get his number 93 back. So shout out to Gerald McCoy. But the last things that I want to talk about, which in my opinion was interesting to me, were 3 guys that didn't make the roster, and I felt like any of these three guys could have or should have made the roster. Number 1, running back BJ Emmons or EJ Emmons. In my opinion, he was a great runner in the preseason, and we all know that Josh Jacobs will and is probably vouching for him at the moment right now to either get him on the practice squad or to get him on the 53, right? But we all know that Jalen Richard has not been released or has not been cut or has not been waived or anything like that. He's still on the roster, right? Jalen Richard is still on the roster. Emmons, after having a very, very good preseason, pairing up with our other running back who has also not made the roster. Trey Regis has also not made the roster. These 2 guys, hopefully we can pick them up on the practice squad, because I'm not too sure right now. We only have 2 healthy running backs on the team. That's Jacobs and that's Kenyon Drake. And we both know that those 2 guys are going to be carrying a lot of the weight of the running back room. So with Jalen Richard out, I really hope that we can try and move on from him and pick one of these guys up, because Regis and Emmons, in my opinion, you can choose out of either one of them. I would like either one of them. In my opinion, I would lean towards Regis just because of how much better he is in the pass protecting department. I do believe that they're pretty equal as a runner. They both run very, very hard. Both are elusive. I love the way they both run. So if we just needed a true running back, I probably wouldn't mind at all. But for the kind of system that we are, I would prefer Regis over Emmons. But neither of those guys made the roster, and in my opinion, that was a bit shocking. And the last guy that did not make the roster, that I'm kind of disappointed in our staff for not picking him up, and hopefully he does not get scooped up by any other team, because he did put a lot of film out there during the preseason, and in my opinion, he put out some good film, and that is kick returner / punt returner out of Pitt, undrafted free agent DJ Turner. Now, DJ Turner did get signed early in the offseason, right after the draft. We signed him to be a kick returner and a punt returner. At the moment, we do not have no kick returners or no punt returners on the roster. I mean, we have Renfro, who can return punts, but he's not a punt returner. We have Kenyon Drake, who can return punts, but he's not a punt returner. And in my opinion, I really think DJ Turner, not only did he look good returning the ball, but him just playing inside and outside wide receiver, he looked very, very good in my opinion. I really liked what I saw. If anybody, I hope that we can get Regis and Turner on the practice squad immediately, and hopefully on game days, you can elevate two guys from the practice squad to game day. I really hope that those two guys can get elevated each week, right? But you can only elevate them so many times before you have to put them on the active roster, or else you cannot just keep elevating them, So it is what it is. Hopefully DJ Turner can make his way back on this roster. In my opinion, I really, really want to see him here. Especially you let go of a guy like John Brown. You're kind of banking on Zay Jones and Willie Snead to really be those guys if someone goes down. I'm not saying that DJ Turner is better than those two guys, but I do think that he brings some value. So like I said, guys, I am just going to be talking about surprises and main stuff that happened today. And in my opinion, this was all the main stuff that I got from today's news. But exciting times for some, disappointing for others. These guys were trying to get jobs, man, at the end of the day. So I hope that some of the guys that didn't work out, I hope they can go find a home elsewhere and make their career go. And then there's some guys that I really want to keep here, man. There honestly is a couple guys that I want to keep here, like Turner, like a Regis, or even Emmons, man. I really like how he ran the ball too. But like I said, Raider Nation, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about today's news? We did get a handful of news today, up and down, kind of like, what are we doing here? But, oh, I'm glad this guy made it here. So it is what it is, but that'll be it for today's video, Raider Nation. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. On a road to 2,000 subscribers. We are very, very close. So please hit that subscribe button if you're new. But that'll be it for today, Raider Nation. Let me know what other kind of videos you guys like to see. Always comment in the comment section down below. I see almost all of them. I like almost all of them. If not, I reply to almost all of them. So please, please, please interact as much as possible. I love seeing your guys' comments. But that's it for today. Like I said, do what you guys need to do with that like button and comment section. But I'm out of here, Raider Nation. Hope y'all had a good day. Peace out, y'all.